It's November 3rd. We're like 4 days late. Do we still have to do the scary games video? We do? Nobody's gonna watch it. You signed a contract? Why did you sign a contract? Who told you could do that? Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, it sounds like we have some things to talk about afterward, okay? Jeez. Alright, so I really love scary games. That's kind of new for me. I thought they were all just like really silly jump scare games, and why would I voluntarily play something that makes me want to pee my pants? Okay, so that's what it looks like when you get got. But I was wrong. There are actually some really cool scary games out there. There's like a lawnmower or some kind of machine outside, and if you hear it, that's not my fault. And if you don't hear it, that means I fixed it. I did a good thing. You've probably heard of the big ones like Outlast, Amnesia, Visage, but I've picked out a few here that I think have kind of flown under the radar. Here's the first game, and if you say this one isn't horror, then meet me out back behind the Chili's and I'm gonna give you a big noogie until you admit that you're wrong. It's Observation. Basically, you're working to unravel a pretty surreal mystery that's happening on board the space station Observation. This game doesn't really have a big boogeyman chasing you around like a lot of other horror games do. It is cosmic, impossible horror, and the best part about it is that it never ruins the atmosphere by over-explaining or showing too much of its hand. It just kind of sits you in this weird, unsettling spaceship and slowly lets you put together the story yourself. The bits of lore scattered around the ship are very short and just subtly hint at what's happening. You play as the ship's onboard AI system named Sam, and as the ship's all-knowing and all-seeing AI, you should pretty easily be able to explain the status of the ship and what's going on, right? Haha, lol, LMAO. No, sorry. And imagining the crew's perspective of not being able to get answers from their futuristic AI system is pretty terrifying. I mean, imagine if you asked Google what the weather was today and it said this.
There is a fire out of control in EAS 4.
Shit, I'm on my way.
This game has excellent voice acting, an incredibly unique presentation, and it creates these really mesmerizing moments. It was one of those games where I just didn't want it to end, but you know, like, it does end eventually. So once you're done with that one, I have a second one for you to play. And I also want to say, before I reveal the second game, what did I want to say? Oh, all three of these games are very different. So if Observation doesn't sound like the kind of game you want to play, then hopefully one of these other two games will appeal to you. So here's the second game, Mundon Curtin, which is a very normal name, has received notice that his grandfather has died and is visiting his grandfather's hometown for his funeral, despite the fact that he has this very suspicious letter from the local priest saying, hey, don't bother coming up, the funeral's already done, your grandfather's buried. Honestly, right off the bat, I think you can make any piece of media pretty terrifying by just including a few goats. Like, look, this little guy's walking up to me in the beginning of the game and I'm already pissing my pants. Like, what's he gonna do? Oh, actually, he's kind of cute. Something else you'll notice about this game is its incredibly unique graphical style, and that's because every single texture in the game was hand-drawn with pencil. It gives everything you look at like this disgusting muddy brown gray look, the environment, the items, the people, the freaking goats, and it's this strange eerie style that makes an otherwise ordinary town look really weird and unsettling. The gameplay here is closer to your classic horror games. You do get some weapons, but they feel pretty terrible to use. It's not really a spoiler to say that. There's not really a lot of ammo around. They feel really clunky and slow and inaccurate. So even when you find weapons, you don't even feel that powerful. You just feel like maybe you can make it to the next checkpoint now. And beyond that, there are some really cool religious themes in this game, a really compelling, mysterious story that unravels as you walk around this town. You meet a good number of other characters and goats, and it all just comes together into this really strange, unforgettable experience. So before I get to the third game, I do want to say two things. One, maybe like I've heard a really cool thing to do is to like slap that little thumbs up button right below the video, or the little subscribe button. I would point to it, but I think YouTube is changing visually as we speak, so I don't want to like point to the wrong location and look like a goddamn fool. Second thing I want to say, I didn't intend on including two games that immediately start off with your grandfather dying, but like this third game is gonna start like that. I guess it's just like a good scary way to start off a scary game. It's like, ooh, What secrets did Grandpa have? We're gonna go find out. So the third game here is gonna be From the Darkness. So right off the bat, I want to say that From the Darkness is easily the scariest game on this list, and it is probably one of the scariest games I've ever played. You are exploring your grandfather's small apartment, and it's kind of tough to say anything more than that because this game is incredibly short. It'll only take you maybe 1 or 2 hours depending on how much you stall when you get really scared. I stall a lot when I get really scared, and I don't want to move forward because I know that's where all the scary things are. To give you an idea of how scary this game is, I've played this game before, and while I was recording gameplay footage, I had to stop because I knew the super scary parts were immediately going to start. So as soon as I started hearing things, I just stopped recording and I was like, you know what? That's enough. We can just loop that or something. I actually don't know how the developer manages to pull this off, and it doesn't feel rushed or anything either. This game is just really good at creating a tense atmosphere, scaring the crap out of you, and then just immediately creating a new tense atmosphere. I don't know, how do I end this video now? Like, those are 3 really scary games. Go, if you haven't played them, go play them. Dang, they're good. I'm gonna stop recording now. I think on YouTube I could put on like little end cards like that link out to other videos I've made, so if you see those pop up, then maybe click on them, and if you don't see them pop up, then this is pretty awkward, huh? It's just kind of me sitting here. Anyway, I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and, you know, click on the buttons that I told you to click on earlier, and like the subscribe button and stuff.